You're here at the Shlicketty cast. Screw you! We're at the Shlicketty cast. Welcome to episode, I don't know. All right, here we go. We're gonna do our usual. There we go. Oh, Mike is here. He's ringing the doorbell, but we're not gonna let him in yet. We're not gonna let him in yet. Yeah. We're gonna wink at him, and then we're gonna say, here he is. He wants to say hello.
Oh my God. Dude, so you might not know, but that that left eye doesn't open all the way sometimes, and it makes me laugh so hard. Makes you look like you're drunk.
Oh, the Henson people are probably like, what is he doing?
No, I dig those.
Aren't they great?
You know who's dope at that shit is that Jeff Dunham guy. That comedian with the
Yeah,
puppets.
doesn't he make his own shit?
Dude, he does. His YouTube channel is fucking dope.
Oh, I didn't look at that. He's probably got a pretty good Instagram then, I would guess, too. Huh?
I don't know. Like, I stumbled into his YouTube videos once, man. That dude is really...
He is one of the they say he's one of the highest earning comedians out there touring.
He's crafty, man.
Yeah,
he was like developing a new character and like making the character in his garage and like, you know, like, yeah, there's a whole way to do like the eye mechanisms and, you know, all this sort of stuff. With
oh yeah, there's engineering.
Yeah.
I know. In a different world, if I had more time, we'd be doing it.
Yeah, that dude's he's really good at it. He's really interesting.
Yeah.
He's really interesting. Yeah, he's got it figured out. Yeah. He made all the money in the Midwest.
Money off puppets.
Yeah, but it's also the act, man. Because you know, you remember like way back early 80s on HBO, like the Young Comedian special and shit like that? He was on there with that peanut puppet back then.
Yeah, and that old guy too. He did the old guy that looks like Joe Biden.
Yeah,
yeah,
the old squinty face guy.
Right, that was always fun. I remember that. Yeah, that was way before I was even into comedy. I remember seeing that like in the 90s, late 90s.
I think it was earlier than that, man.
Yeah.
When he first started off, man, back in the 80s and shit.
Do you well, I mean, we always talk about like, do you remember like the old when you were young? You know, no, of course I grew up with Steve Martin. That was my thing on the cassette. But I remember thinking in the '90s, like the one my dad and I watched, and we watched on HBO. It was Richard Jeni, who's gone now.
That was the 80s.
Was that the 80s?
You keep saying 90s.
Well, when I say 90s, I always think like 92, 94, early.
I think Richard Jeni like died in like 89.
I don't know when he died, but man, I remember my dad and I both,
because
me and my dad weren't really connecting on a lot of things, but we both were laughing at him. You know what I mean? I remember connecting with my dad.
There were a handful of guys back around then that were fucking great that fucking are no longer around.
Yeah. Well, the Kinnisons and all those, you know, but
no. But I mean, like Richard Jeni. God, who was the other one? He was like really good.
I remember seeing young Brian Regan and thinking he was really good, but Brian Regan wasn't, like now he's one of the greatest. He's you know, but back then he wasn't really known. He was kind of just like, he's on TV. He felt very cruise shippy and young.
Well, it was part of the whole alt comedy thing. That was like Dave Cross, Janine Garofalo sort of stuff.
Well, they were the hip ones, yeah.
I mean, but that was kind of the thing that was going on then, was sort of like, you know, it was like the comedians were like too. Well, I mean, in the early 80s, remember the stand-up comedy got so big, they had on TV every night live, both Catch a Rising Star and, what was the other one? Bud Friedman's.
Right.
No, that was Catch a Rising Star. What was the other one? Was it the Mitzi Shore one?
The Comedy Store, Comedy Cellar, Comedy Broadway.
No, the Improv.
Gotham.
The Improv.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Improv. It was on A&E. Remember on A&E they had Improv.
Yeah.
A&E,
there was always
evening at the Improv
something on.
Yeah. Well, there was 2 stand-up comedy shows on every fucking night. Every night, new stuff, not repeats.
But what was wild? It was your direct line to TV, and it was cool.
Yeah.
But now maybe in the bigger cities, the comedy clubs were flourishing, but in the area there was nothing. There was nothing in smaller cities, you know.
Right,
so if you're a young kid trying to go, I want to do that.
Well, I mean, the whole idea of the comedy clubs is like a holdover from like the Rat Pack era.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I always liked stand-up comics, but I always thought back when we were musicians, I was like, until I saw Dice, I was like, there's no real place for me. Like, the comedians always
Right.
seem like, oh, they're geeky guys wearing sport coats that are fresh
Right.
off a Disney cruise.
There were a lot of prop comics back
Yeah,
then.
and it felt
a lot
really
of guys
stiff
with
and
guitars.
kind of, yeah, they just seemed like goofy science teachers, you know, and I didn't really connect. Well, I connected with the comedy, but I was like, I couldn't see myself doing it.
No,
you know?
because I mean, honestly, I remember when I was like 9 or 10, like comedians and magicians were like two sides of the same coin.
Sure,
know?
sure. Yeah, magicians still, you know, yeah. That is what it is, I know. I always think, what if I would have got into it sooner? I'd be huge now. Well, maybe not. I could have been, you know, I would have maybe missed the mark or said the wrong thing or just been a whole different color of a person and a whole different kind of a way of thinking.
But to be sure, it's a world of difference between now with the social media and the internet and the availability of information and contacts and that sort of shit as to back then.
Right.
Back then, it was like an impossibility. I mean, even back then, even wanting to like, you know, make movies, make films, that sort of shit, like you literally had to know somebody
And
in
you
the
had
industry.
to, yeah, you just had to be in a big city. You had to be in LA or New York or
But you had to
possibly
know people.
Chicago.
You had to know people. You had to have an in.
Yeah, I guess if I would have had to do it, the time I would have got off the music horse would have probably been 2002 to 2005, somewhere in there. That's when I should have jumped on it because I was pre-podcasting, and that's where all those comics were bubbling, and you know, and things were happening, you know. So I should have done it then, but I stayed too long at the party with music, and here I am, like shipwrecked.
Yeah,
Stinks.
in '99, I was going to move to New Zealand and just fucking beg to work at Weta.
Ooh,
But I thought there wasn't any future in it.
I don't know anything about New Zealand other than they filmed Lord of the Rings there. I have no idea what's going on over there other than it's beautiful.
Yeah, I just wanted to go work at
But
Weta.
I don't know, yeah, like when I think of Australia, I go, huh, it feels like a desert to me. It feels like it feels like Arizona to me, like a giant Arizona.
It's worse. Yeah, most of Australia is a desert. Nobody lives there.
Yeah.
So if you've ever looked at Australia, all the cities are along as you're looking at it from above, the eastern coast. Melbourne, Sydney, all that shit. And I think there's one city on the other coast, way the fuck out there. I think it's Brisbane.
Yeah, aren't the two major cities are on either opposite end? Like Perth is a big deal. Sydney, Perth is a big deal. Isn't Perth up north?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's on that eastern coast.
Yeah.
Where everything is. Perth, Melbourne, Sydney, you know, Gold Coast, all that sort of shit. But then there's one city way over on the coast on the other end of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so it's all about transporting shit across that whole desert just to keep that outpost way over at the other end of the continent supplied.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It's nuts.
I got a frog in my throat. So yeah, okay. What episode are we at? Where are we
48.
at? Huh?
48.
48, huh?
Episode 48.
48.
Closing up on a year. 52 episodes of this. If you can believe it.
Should we make some changes? I don't know. I mean, we're going through these year things, and it's given us something to talk about. It's given us a little bit of fodder, which is fine. I don't know how the people are like. Who cares?
It's fun. It's a little nostalgia ball tickle, but it's fun.
Yeah. And I feel like we don't get too deep into it, but maybe that's good, because if we were to get too deep into it, I don't know. It'd be inside baseball, or not. I don't know. Who knows?
No, yeah, and I don't. Yeah, we don't have the time to be able to get crazy with the editing and like pull clips and throw stuff in.
Sure, that, and then let alone the pre-homework and doing all the.
I like it though. It's fun. I think it's fun just going through the stuff. I think all the stuff that you bring in, like toys and products and stuff like that.
Toys and products.
I love when it's something that I forgot about. Or haven't thought about, you know what I mean?
This year that we're working, I always say this year, but this episode, what are we on? 1979? Yes, there's some good product. Every year the products are improving, like the more of them.
It is interesting. It's a very interesting transitional period.
Yeah.
And in my charts that I've got for it today, my list, it's very interesting. Very interesting. You can almost see the seismic shift starting to turn.
Seismic.
Definitely coming through in TV. There's some stuff that's hanging on, Still clearing out the last remnants from the production pipelines.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of good changing it up.
Yeah. Two things we've left out of all of our retro. We don't talk about cars.
What's there to talk about cars?
I know. Well, there's some car aficionados out there. I'm sure there's somebody, if we were to say, hey, this is a 72 Gran Torino, they'd be like, wow, and they get a weird car boner over it. Who knows? But
yeah, but we don't know anything about any of that.
No, I don't. I can't even change my oil.
Like, we know nothing about sports.
That was my next one. We don't talk sports much because we don't know any much about sports.
No, you, historically, have always been super anti-sports.
Well, just because I felt it very culty, you know what I mean? And an extreme waste of time, especially with the advent of fantasy sports. Fantasy sports are stupid. I mean, I understand, like, okay, we're all going to keep an eye on our football teams, and rah. That's cool. But fantasy lineups and that bullshit, and then you mix that with gambling and mix that with the rah. Now, I noticed the rah has calmed down in the past decade.
Well,
back in the 80s and 70s and early 90s.
Because they got the legal gambling now.
Yeah. I think it maybe, of all that testosterone-fueled rivalry, it's taken that air out of the tire a little bit.
Yeah, because they're all like, rah, with the team, and then they lose their fucking money in the bet, and then they're like, all right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's times, I know,
the edge off.
You always heard those stories like, Johnny Garlic Teeth got rolled because he had his Philadelphia Eagles coat on, and he was in Pittsburgh with a Philadelphia Eagles coat, and Johnny Garlic Teeth got beat up. We don't, you don't hear about that kind of stuff now, or I don't know. It seems like less of the old, you're gonna get beat up wearing a Pittsburgh Steelers shirt in a Cleveland bar.
It still happens more often than you'd like to see, but we don't hear about it much because we're not in those cities.
True, and when I have been, I'm nowhere near sports world.
I mean, it happened like 3-4 years ago, I think, up in Buffalo.
Yeah, but every time, I've gone to a lot of Pittsburgh games. I've done a lot of Cleveland-Pittsburgh games.
Pittsburgh's different. Pittsburgh's classy.
They are. They love their Steelers, but if they, they're not hawking loogies on you if you got a Browns shirt on. They don't hawk loogies on you.
It's a game.
They might give you a little wink and a nudge, but there's no.
Yeah, they're not even going to give you a shit if you're wearing Brown stuff. I mean, they'll be like, "Oh my God, you're wearing the Browns gear," but they're not going to attack you.
And everybody's kind of. I think we're all kind of, because everyone knows the Browns stink. Steelers are questionable right now.
Well,
and everyone's like, and we all meet in the middle with Buffalo. Everyone goes, all right, when all else fails, we'll root for Buffalo.
No, I don't root for Buffalo.
I like the Buffaloes. I'm okay with it.
No.
Why? Is it because you're O.J. Simpson?
No, because I remember back in the days they were O.J. Simpson. No, I remember back in the day in the 80s, they were good all the time, and they always got into the playoffs and/or Super Bowls. 4 times, and they fucking choked all 4 times.
Well, they've been choking this year with the playoffs. They get all the way to the finish line, and then, split the... But I'd like to see them. I think the city deserves it. You know what I mean?
No, hey, listen. I'm down with all that. I mean, I got nothing against them other than, the Bills ended up being sort of a non-starter through the 80s. They had a solid team with Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas was the running back, and didn't they have Ed Caffrey or something like that? Was their receiver, a big tall guy, used to reach up and fucking reach. They were a solid team, but 4 times they got to the Super Bowl and they blew it. I remember watching them with you back in the day, and there was one of them that was such a blowout by 10 minutes into it.
I remember
it was woof.
Making a note going, it was snow. Like, we watched snow games. I remember, and we didn't know much about football then, but we were like,
speak for yourself.
It was it's snowing out. Let's watch it. It'll be a snow game.
Dude, I've known football since I was like 9.
Yeah, I guess you followed it more than I did. Your brother was more into it, so yeah.
No, he was into hockey.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was a hockey guy.
Yeah, and I like the hockey too.
Basically, I like it in person.
My sports comes down to the Steelers, the Penguins, and sumo wrestling. That's what I like for sports.
Sumo's
dope. I love sumo wrestling.
Who's your favorite sumo wrestler?
I used to like that Akibono dude. He was like
You know names of sumo wrestlers?
He was like, so he was like, this is like 20 years ago, but he was like a 7 foot or 6'9" like Polynesian dude. He used to just slap people around. It was great. And then there was this little Mongolian dude named Asashoryu. He used to take down the bigger guys. He had this interesting technique. He'd go in, fucking be slapping. He'd slap them right here in the upper chest. He'd be like, slap, 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 slap. And they'd be like, whoa. And as soon as they leaned back, he'd pull their belt. He'd push on their upper body and like pull on their belt, and they'd stumble backwards, and he'd just make them fall over.
Wow.
It was fascinating.
I don't think I've ever seen a sumo.
It would happen in like 3 seconds.
I've never watched a sumo match in my life, I don't think.
It's fascinating. They have them every other month. They have them 6 times a year.
Hear that, kids? Sumo wrestling.
They used to have it on
Mike's into sumo wrestling.
They used to have it on ESPN. Yeah.
Wow, I thought I knew everything about you. Now you're telling me you're into sumo wrestling. I thought I knew everything about you.
You were
I just
there.
learned this.
You were there when I fucking first saw it when we were living in that.
Yeah,
the
but I
fucking
thought it
house.
was just a stoned watch. I didn't realize. I thought it was just like, oh, ha, 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 we're half high, we'll watch
Well,
it.
they got into where like ESPN was having it on like regularly enough that I
they?
started getting into it. Yeah, it was like every time I turned on CNN for a certain period, it was like they were having Emperor's Cup sumo wrestling, and I was like, okay. And so I would sit there.
Sponsored by Hostess.
Because we sat there and watched it that first day. In like an hour, they had like the whole bracketing from like 64 contenders down to the final 2. And we were riveted. Like yeah. Oh, that was a good time.
Wow.
I like the sumo. It was fun. It's fun.
I'll
like
have to watch one.
But I don't know where it is anymore. I can't, I don't know who's covering it.
Well, I would assume it's Japan.
No, I know. But I mean, like, I used to back in the day on cable. I used to get up early on Saturdays to watch NHK News out of Japan just to see the sumo. Sumo wrestling and shit.
God. You actually got up early to watch Japanese news?
Well, this was the days before DVRs.
Oh, yeah, true.
I wasn't going to set up the VCR for that sort of bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. I ain't wasting a VCR tape on Japanese news.
No, it's not that. It's just, I mean, I never used the VCR. I'm not going to break out the whole old school VCR just for,
Yeah.
try and tape some fucking...
I ain't taping over Trick or Treat 3 for this.
It's like Japanese news,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's like traffic congestion reports from Edo.
What do you say? Oh, know what else? Oh, here was something I wanted to talk about at one point. Forget it. Well, I was going to bring up, you know how we always talk about things we used to do back in the day? And I was telling the girlfriend about this. I'm like, the hacky sack. Is it still a thing?
I don't know. I still have a SEPA right on my DVD shelf.
We have it.
We used to film at the
It's
house.
in episode 2.
In several of those early episodes, you used to like to put it right in the shot there.
Yeah, but the hacky sack.
I would tell you this because I hacky sacked a lot more than you did.
Yeah, it was a '90s thing.
Nope. Once again, this was in the '80s. It wasn't a '90s thing. This is before I graduated high school. This is when I was 14, 15. This is before I started working at 15, 16.
I think you're wrong. I think the hacky sack came out later than that. I think you should Google it right now.
No, the hacky sack itself came out like in the fucking 50s or 60s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's been around for a long time.
And you're talking the leather one or not you're not talking the sepia one. You're talking the leather one that looks like a scrotum.
Yeah, so Grignell had one of those that was all fucking worn out and broken in.
Yeah, they had to be broken in.
And when it gets broken in, it actually gets fatter. When you buy them, they're like this big.
Yeah, they're kind of small.
And like Grignell's was like that because the leather was sort of stretched out and worn in.
Yeah.
But it made it sort of softer and easier to do tricks, like if you want to try and catch it on your foot and shit. I got terrible balance, so I didn't do tricks, but
your brother is good. My brother was pretty good, but we wore bigger sneakers back then too. So I think, but the hacky sack, dude, I remember I thought I saw one in a store, but a sepia I saw in the store, and I tried to tell my daughter about it, and she looked at me like, what? What is it? She had no idea what this was. And I was like, oh, it was a big deal.
You know, I mean...
And there'd be no problem. I was telling the girlfriend, she's another one. She was a young parent, so she didn't have hacky sack time. But I was telling her, it'd be no problem. Like, you'd walk outside to smoke at a bar or something like that, and there'd be 3 guys playing hacky sack, and you just, hey, could you smoke? Hey, can I hack with you? You'd hop in their circle, you'd toss around.
Yes, in the 90s.
Yeah.
In the 90s when that whole...
It's very communal.
When that whole 60s hippie thing came back around again. The Dead started touring again. Acid started coming back around again.
Yeah, it's very communal.
And it was I mean, you go down to fucking like, not Docksider. What was that one 2 blocks down from Sherlock's on State?
It was the old Docksider, yeah.
Was it Docksider?
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to have like fucking like the
Hippie bands, yeah.
Yeah, the hippie
all the
jam
tie-dye
bands.
bands, yeah.
Exactly. You would 100% see fucking some hacky sack going on. But yeah, because when I remember doing like hacky sack, I remember doing a lot with Grignell. You weren't usually there. Sometimes Jones
Yeah,
was
but
there.
you and I would. We would just be walking around. We'd be walking the streets. All right, let's go find somewhere, catch a smoke, or sneak and get high in a parking garage, and just one of us would pull right out of our jean jacket. Here, kick.
Yeah, I mean, so I will say,
hacking.
to this day, it's fucking funny. If I drop something out of my hand, I will habitually get my foot underneath it before it hits the ground.
The lift up.
Habitually.
Yeah.
Like, and that has saved my ass. I had my $800 lens on a little plastic adapter thing on my camera in film school in the studio. And that plastic thing broke. My $800 lens is tumbling to the concrete floor.
Oh, did you pull a hacky foot?
I stuck my foot under it, and the lens hit it and then rolled off. And it was like, it's like that with everything. Sometimes, like if I'm in the kitchen and you like drop a knife, I gotta stop myself from putting my foot under it. Mm-hmm. But if it's anything else, I will habitually get my foot underneath it and break the fall. I will like stop it and bring it down to the ground.
I like.
It is weird how conditioned I am to it.
I think
it's not even something I think about. It
yeah,
is
I can see it.
Instinctive reaction.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh. It's so silly.
They should bring the hacky sack back.
It probably is. I always knew it as like a hippie thing. Like
right. I think the sepia is still flowing
frisbees
around.
and
I've
hacky
seen
sacks.
sepias around, but I've not seen
Honestly,
the leather hacky sack, the actual leather hacky sack.
Hacky sack sepia, or sepia is, not sepia. Sepia is for daguerreotypes and, you know.
No, sepia. A sepia is more like a crocheted bag.
Yeah, it's knitted. Yeah, well,
and it has little bigger pellets in it. But it usually had a tie-dye pattern or like
it's a little bit
pattern.
bigger. It's more.
It was crocheted. It felt like a real tight crochet.
Yeah, and the sepia is like a little bit like bigger, sort of like if you take that leather hacky sack and it gets like, you know, all fucking worn out and shit. Because I remember where, you know, Grignell had one. It was a blue and white one that was really fucking stretched out like leather, you know, hacky sack, and then it got a rip in it, you know, and we'd sew it up and it'd split open again, sew it up.
Yeah.
And I remember when we got a new one, it was so tight, it was just like it constantly.
It would roll. But when they're broken in, it wouldn't roll as much because it would be more like a sack that would.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to do as much chasing.
Oh my God, the chasing. Fucking Jones was the worst, man. He would just haul off and punt it.
Yeah, the over kickers, the over enthusiastic kickers that weren't thinking about the next shot. But
he didn't care.
But it's funny.
He didn't want to be hacking.
That's what I liked about the hack, though. But hacky sacking, you could do it with anybody, and you know, no matter race, creed, sex, whatever. You could walk into a hacky sack circle and just be like, "Hey, can I join your hack?" Sure. And they'd throw it to you. You know,
there's a period where
it's like frisbee,
where me and Grignell a lot were my boombox, my ghetto blaster, master of puppets, hacking, just fucking catch a buzz and fucking smoke cigarettes and hack and.
Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, me, you, and your brother. I remember. Yeah. One of us would always have the tape deck playing. You know, something like Anthrax or something like that.
I remember specifically the one time, like me and Grignell and Jones down there by the dock. Yeah. Just right off the dock, there was this place that fixed boats and shit. And they had this light overhead that was coming off this garage, and then this nice smooth concrete pad right in front of it. So we would just hang there and set down the ghetto blaster. The three of us would just fucking hack and smoke cigarettes. And if we got bored, we'd walk, 20 feet over there to the dock, and all the people and the cars and the craziness.
Yeah, I miss it. I miss the hacky sack. I think they should bring it back. I want to find an old hacky sack. You think it's on Amazon right now?
You can buy one.
Really?
Yeah, I bought that SEPA, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, but a SEPA stinks. I'm talking the actual leather hacky sack.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. I didn't buy that SEPA. I think I found that SEPA.
Yeah, that seems like something you would, all of a sudden it's in a drawer. All of a sudden you go, hey, look at this.
It was one of the things I found working at the video game company.
Okay, there we go. That seems like a leftover at a video game company.
Yeah, it was like, there were weird things I'd find. Like, there were things that shouldn't be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Like, like a ball pit? Like the ball pit has those big, like blown plastic balls,
Sure.
that red and yellow and blue. I'd find in there a ball like this size that's like solid rubber with some like weird, like sort of neon green core. And I'm like, well, that's not supposed to be in there. And so I would just take it out of the ball pit because it's not supposed to be there. And I would just sort of be like, well, that's cool. And so I just keep it in my truck. So I would have all these like little fucking things that you find
ball pit scores.
in, not necessarily ball pit, sometimes ball pit. Sometimes, there were things that you'd find in coin mechs and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
You told me the one coin mech you found a piece of pepperoni.
Yeah, there was a piece of pepperoni stuck in the coin mech, and then there were like probably
That's something I would have done.
17 quarters stuck. Because the coin mech is a piece of metal, and then it's got this other piece of metal that's held in by a spring.
Yeah.
And so if the quarter's not right, the spring opens up and it rejects it, and it falls through.
Yeah.
Right? So the pepperoni went down there and like V'd like this and stuck in there. So so when you go to do it, those coins haven't gone through the coin counter, which is at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So they're unaccounted for. So you can just dump the coin mech out into your hand. And if it's a cash account, we had like 2 cash accounts. If it was a cash account, you just put that in your pocket. So therefore, you were flush with quarters at any time. So therefore, when you're back at the office, and they had a soda machine, and they had set up 35 cents for a soda.
Wow.
So when you went to get a soda, you would literally buy like 7 sodas and just hand them out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because it was like free money.
And you had change.
The change, the quarters, you know what I mean? So it was like, you didn't even sweat like that sort of shit. If you're hungry, because we were mostly doing the Peter Piper pizzas, and so at your last store, get a pie to go. Thirsty, get a
That would be
soda.
a funny list. The top 10 things found in a ball pit.
Or, just at a video game arcade type place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be a funny one. You get an actual arcade guy on the phone, like kind of what you did, but get a real experienced guy who owns the arcade. What are some things you found inside a coin mech?
Yeah, I mean it varies. It's all over because we were also doing redemption games, which is all the stuff that spits out tickets.
Yeah.
So the skee balls, I don't know, things with lights going on. You hit the button. I don't know. You time it. I don't know.
Pirates treasure things and dumb shit.
I remember there was this one game that it was like a ski jump, right? So it was like you put the coin in here and it goes down the ski jump and it and then it jumps and then there's this big wheel going around. And in the wheel there's some slots and then there's some not slots. So you had to try and time it to get the slot. Thousands of coins in there. They weren't coins. Most of the places that we did Peter Piper Pizza were on tokens.
Oh, right.
So the people put the cash into the token machines, and then they just had the Peter Piper tokens. So the games were flushed with Peter Piper tokens, so there was no incentive for anybody to break into those. And the change machines, that's where all the cash was.
Not bad. I know. That would have been a fun job.
It was fun.
I want to learn how to fix a pinball machine. I want an actual pinball machine.
Dude, so
That's
pinballs...
on my bucket list of things to buy is an old school pinball machine. I want the double-layered Black Knight pinball machine.
So pinballs was the third thing that, the other thing that we did. We also did pool tables, which that'll teach you real quick how to move heavy things.
Oh, yeah.
Taking pool tables upstairs.
Holes Valley pool tables are fucking...
Yeah, like 8 foot with a slate, yeah. You're like fucking 6, 7, 8 guys on it. Fucking carrying straps, carrying it up fucking, corporate entrance halls and shit like that. Yeah, it was heavy. Yeah. But the pinballs were fun because there were times. So at my job at Fixing the Video Games, I was 2 days out in the field, running routes, going to certain stores, taking care of them, and then 3 days in the shop. And so in the shop days, they might be like, oh, run over here to this store and fucking pick up this game because it's fucking beat to hell, right? And so we'd pull it back and we'd refurbish shit in the shop. And so sometimes you'd get to refurbish a pinball machine. And when you got to refurbish a pinball machine, it was like an all-day job.
Fun.
So you go pull the pinball machine, unload it off the truck, get yourself a workspace in the warehouse. Then you go over to Mountain Coin, which they owned us. They were like around the corner. You go over there, you pull up the manual, you order the whole replacement refurbishment kit, which is like, so in those pinball machines, they'll have those graphics and stuff, and they have little plastic stanchions that hold up little pieces of clear plastic that has printing on it and graphics and shit like that.
Yeah.
Those little pieces of plastic get broken over time.
Yeah, I get that.
So you get like, it'll have like a new header banner. It'll have those pieces of plastic. It'll have new rubbers for all the sizes, for all the different sizes, the bouncers and the rubbers and all that sort of shit. And then you get a bottle of cleaning fluid, and you take all the fucking ball marks off the cleaning surface. And you wax it up, and you replace all the light bulbs. You spend all day doing that.
Oh,
and
it'd be super fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Have you? Okay, I've never held a pinball in my hand. Are they heavier than you think? How heavy are those?
It is a solid chunk of machined stainless steel.
Is that what that is? Stainless steel? I've never held one. I always wondered how heavy that was.
I was never good at pinball machines, so there were times where the pinball would actually jump up and hit the glass, and the guy running the place hates that. You could tell how heavy it is. It is a solid stainless steel ball bearing of that fucking size, and so it has weight.
Yeah.
And it is metal, and so over years, it deposits little bits of schmutz on the playing field.
Sure.
So you rub all those off, and changing the lights is the greatest thing, because in the manual you got the diagram. You go and you take out the glass. Pull the thing, take off the metal thing, slide out the glass, right? Put the glass somewhere safe, because goddamn, don't break the goddamn glass. Then you pull up the deck and pull it out, and then you can put it up. You get behind it, and that's where all the lights are.
Yeah, you can see. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can lay it down and fucking clean the thing and do the little nuts and fucking replace the plastic parts and all the rubber on all the little bounce guys. It's fun, man. And you spend all day refurbing a pinball machine. It was a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime I could do it, fucking... Or like the one time a year where the new video games would come out. So what they do is the regular video games with the cabinets. So they would send you a little chip, a little PCB chip. That's the game. And then they would send you a graphic to go on the header behind the light, in front of the light. And then 2 big stickers for the sides. And then a sticker for the control panel. Yeah. So when I was there, Rampage 3 came out. So there was this one time where we were pulling in old video games, ones that weren't making money anymore. And because they would have that in the office, they'd be like, all right, pull in this game, pull in Frogger, pull in, whatever's not making money. And so then the boards would get swapped out with a new chip by the circuit board guy. We'd fucking paint the cabinets, paint them all black, put the new stickers on it, redo the control panel, whatever it is. They'd send a template, cut holes, cut the plexiglass, screw it on with the tamper-proof screws, get it all spiffed up. And so then we'd have like 4 Rampage 3 machines, or there were like Tekken 3 came out at that time. We had Tekken 3s all over the place. And
Tekken 3.
And so there'll be like 3-4 techs in there, just each refurbing a machine, in a day. So like it was fun.
That'd be fun. I'd like to do that.
Yeah, it was sort of fun fixing the video games and the pinballs and the redemption games and all that. It's just a lot of just like micro switches and actuators and stuff, And for the pinballs, the solenoids.
Not bad. Not bad.
If you know your electronics.
You're learning stuff, guys.
Yeah, it was fun. I like it.
Speaking of machines, should we fire up the wayback machine?
Oh, you want to go to this now?
You want to do it?
All right, listen.
79.
This shit's interesting.
Well, hey, let me go back to 79. I'll do my little header here before we get into your thing. The 79 was a year marked by significant global events, including the Iranian Revolution.
That was a thing.
Yeah, because wasn't Iran pretty liberal, wide open? Girls were walking in bikinis and stuff on the beaches.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
And then
Christiane Amanpour talks all about that because she grew up in Iran, and that place was great. Yeah, in the late 70s, it was cool happening place. It was a great place to be.
Yeah, a vacation spot. And then all of a sudden, the Iranian Revolution, and then all of a sudden, the hard-nosed religious types came and took it over and covered everyone out. Yeah, hell in a handbasket. So let's see, Soviet invasion of Afghanistan and 3 Mile Island. Remember the 3 Mile Island? That was the start of, well, not only did we have the Red Scare going on
Not starting. Red Scare started in 1945.
Sure, but it's been building in the subconscious. Well, then you get this nuclear accident. Everyone's starting to talk about nuclear war. Not nuclear war, but nuclear accidents were a thing. 3 Mile Island. And 3 Mile Island is, keep in mind, Pennsylvania is not too far from where we were at, so, I used to think,
Wait, just for the record, Pennsylvania is exactly where we're at.
no, I know. Well, the actual 3 Mile Island.
It's in the state of Pennsylvania.
You're right.
It's pretty far from us.
Sure, but in a nuclear sense, that ain't too far.
Well, I mean, in that sense, it's not too far from Maryland either.
Sure.
It's about the same distance.
Sure, but we're in the same ecosystem.
Sure.
Well, all right, yeah, and before we get into the movies, and before we get into the movies and the TVs, let's see. Oh, real quick here, Pope John Paul was elected, but he was the first non-Italian pope in 450 years.
He was Polish.
Yeah, Pope John Paul II.
Yeah,
He was a big deal.
He was Polish, and that came out of the whole Solidarity movement, the whole Lech Walesa Solidarity movement against communism in Poland and all that. Remember that? Remember that going through late 70s into the early 80s?
So all the popes before that were Italian. 450 years worth.
Yeah.
The Italians had a grab on that.
If I remember, John Paul II was, and
You're right, he was Polish.
and somebody tried to assassinate him, and therefore we got the next year, I believe in '84, was the Pope Mobile.
Oh, the Pope Mobile. Oh, they didn't mention that, but that's coming up.
Yeah, well, that's in '84.
United Kingdom saw Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher came into power.
Oh wow, it's '79.
Yes, and the same year we elected Ronnie Reagan.
I suppose so, and he took office in '80.
Yeah.
So I was
there
thinking
we
about
go.
him in '80, but I guess the election was '79.
So that's it for the events that I
Yikes.
got, other than
Yikes.
products. I got some good products coming up. But
All
so
right.
you go, okay, why don't we hit the music first?
You want to do the music
What
first?
the hell's going on in music land there in 1979?
So music is pretty interesting. Once again, here is the top 100 Billboard. Okay, number one song for the year is. Okay,
Oh, I think I know this one.
it's very interesting time. The TV list, a little bit the movie list, mostly the TV list and this.
Are we
music
still in
list.
disco land? Disco's still hanging in there.
Oh, 100%. But also, just the number one song for the year, just to show you where we're at, My Sharona by the Knack.
Oh, hey, that's almost new wave.
It is, but it's a gimmick song, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the precursor to new wave and alt.
Yeah. Number two, Bad Girls, Donna Summer.
Right. There's your there's the disco.
Right? Le Freak by Chic.
Yeah. Once again, a roller skating hit.
Roller skating hit. Do You Think I'm Sexy, Rod Stewart?
Oh, Rod Stewart. Now and that's arguably disco-ish too.
It is 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. That melody and yeah. Reunited, Peaches and Herb.
Oh, yeah.
Feels so good.
That was always on the radio.
I Will Survive, Gloria Gaynor.
Okay, here we go.
Now You're Back from Outer Space.
Okay.
Hot Stuff, Donna Summer.
Ah, more Donna Summer. Donna Summer's cashing in these years, ain't she?
Now, I will say this. I know for a fact, because I saw it in the theater, that Hot Stuff was probably a hit by Donna Summer at this point because it was used in a movie called Hot Stuff with Jerry Reed, Suzanne Flechette, and Dom DeLuise, and the guy from Sesame Street. And anyway, they were cops that set up a fake pawn shop. Somewhere in Florida. It was a movie called Hot Stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to like that movie when I was a kid. And that was the theme song to it, was the Donna Summer Hot Stuff song. So it may have charted because it had movie studio money behind it. Just saying. Okay. YMCA, Village People.
Sure.
Yeah, this is where we're at with 1979. Ring My Bell, Anita Ward.
Sure,
Right.
disco again.
Sad Eyes, talking about Robert John. Don't know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Too Much Heaven, Bee Gees.
Of course there's a Bee Gees song
All right,
every
so
year.
MacArthur Park, Donna Summer. This is Donna Summer covering it. Now, we hit up MacArthur Park, but blew past it a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, why do we know MacArthur Park?
I don't know where the fuck this came from. I really don't know, but this is a song done by Richard Harris, the original Dumbledore. It's the song where he's singing, "Someone Left My Cake Out in the Rain."
Cake. Is it cake?
Have you ever heard this song?
No, but Dumbledore is singing Is It Cake?
Someone Left My Cake Out in the Rain. It is a loony song.
Wow, Cake in the Rain? Who left?
Apparently it's from some Broadway show or something. I'm not quite sure. I don't really know. If
Who
anybody
left my
knows,
cake out in the
write it in the
rain?
comments, because I have no...
Dumbledore singing Who Left My Cake
Out in the Rain.
That sounds like a computer-generated premise.
This is Donna Summer covering it now.
And then
in
Donna
79.
Summer covering Dumbledore's song.
And charting
Is it Cake?
at number 12. Yeah. Yeah.
Cake.
13. When you're in love with a beautiful woman. When you're in love.
Oh,
That's Dr. Hook.
Gibbs. Oh, that wasn't the Gibbs?
Says Dr. Hook.
Oh, Dr. Hook, okay.
But yeah, that's like the Bee Gees. Love with the beautiful
I almost want to say the Bee Gees
woman.
maybe the Bee Gees
Maybe-
redid it.
I think maybe Dr. Hook covered it, but I mean, who knows? But I think that's a Bee Gees song. It's a very, I don't know. Maybe it's a completely different song. Who knows? Making It by David Naughton.
Oh, is that the theme from Greatest American Hero?
No, this is David Naughton. He was the actor.
Oh, he was the actor, the guy with the brown curly hair who was in Starsky and Hutch, wasn't he?
No, not Starsky and Hutch. That's Paul Michael Glaser. David Naughton and Griffin Dunn are the two guys in American Werewolf in London.
That's how I know. But I was close with the curly hair. I could picture his face.
Griffin
yeah.
Dunn's the guy who gets eaten by the wolf and he
Yeah.
comes back as the ghost. David
Yeah.
Naughton's the guy who turns into the werewolf after he bangs
Right.
the nurse in
Yeah,
London.
he was kind of a big deal. Wasn't he in the Goonies or the Gremlins?
No, that was Zach something.
Oh, okay. I thought he was in the Gremlins too.
Zach Galligan.
Oh, okay.
No,
He reminds me of the guy from Gremlins.
Zach Gallagher. No. David Naughton was
But
sort
David
of
Naughton was a big deal.
sort of late 70s. So he had he put out an album or two. Yeah, he was doing a singing career. Everybody was doing a singing career back then.
Yeah,
remember?
there's crossover.
Yeah. Okay. So Fire, Pointer Sisters.
All right.
Tragedy, Bee Gees.
Again.
Right. A Little More Love, Olivia Newton-John.
All right.
Heart of Glass,
Blondie.
Blondie. What a Fool Believes, which I think we covered What a Fool Believes a couple of lists ago. So this may be a reemergence of What a Fool Believes.
Maybe once again, you're probably right. It probably appeared in a stupid movie.
Yeah. Good Times by Chic.
Okay. Okay. Now, what are the kids listening to?
You Don't Bring Me Flowers, Knock on Wood,
All right.
Stumbling In.
You Don't Bring Me Flowers.
The Logical Song by Supertramp, My Life by Billy Joel,
Oh, Billy Joel.
Shake Your Groove Thing.
I think there's more Billy Joel on the actual charts, though, because there's something in my list that I came across. Billy Joel, the number one song I thought was a Billy Joel song this year.
The Gambler, Kenny Rogers.
Oh, the Gambler's always been through there. Yeah, Gamblers.
Hold the Line, Toto.
Toto. Wow, the Gambler and Toto were around at the same time.
Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Oh, that was
Charlie
a big deal.
Daniels Band.
Oh, yeah, I loved that song when I was a kid.
Right. We Are Family, Sister Sledge, Rock and Roll Fantasy by Bad Company. Wow. Boogie Wonderland, Earth, Wind and Fire, and the Emotions. Boogie Wonderland. Sultans of Swing, Dire Straits.
Ugh.
Chucky's in Love by Ricky Lee Jones. Yeah, right?
Stinks.
All right, let me see. Okay, so let's go to the other list now, which is, so this was the top 100, and we're only down to like 70 or 80, and most of these I'm like, I don't know what this is. This is a list of kind of cool songs, like significant songs that came out in 79.
The hipsters.
Once again, this list is by the time of the year that they came out. So the top of the list is shit that came out in January, blah, 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 blah. Another Brick of the Wall, Part 2.
There we go.
London Calling.
There we go.
Rapper's Delight.
Oh, Rappers Delight. Okay. Now that's a big deal.
It's a real big deal.
Because, yeah, I remember listening to that when I was in the schoolyard. I had the
79.
cassette tape. I had the extended version cassette tape. It was all, same song was on each side.
Yeah, where they let the beat roll.
Yeah.
Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Oh, sorry. Good Times. These are the good times. It's
Yeah.
Chic. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, which is Michael Jackson.
Sure.
I like that song. I like Off the Wall.
That was Michael Jackson's solo.
Yeah, I like Off the Wall. I
Yeah,
like
that
all
was a
the
great,
songs
that
on
was a
there.
solid record.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that.
Solid record.
We Are Family.
We Are Family. Okay.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. Pointer Sisters? Sister
Pointer
Sledge?
Sisters, I think.
Sister
Sister
Sledge?
Sledge. Sister Sledge, yeah.
Yeah. Comfortably Numb.
Okay.
Pink Floyd, I know. Hot Stuff, Donna Summer. Brass in Pocket. Pretenders.
Pretenders, yes.
Message in a Bottle.
Please.
Right. Train in Vain. I don't know what that is. Highway to Hell.
AC/DC.
How about this one? Cars.
Oh, Gary
Newman.
Touchy.
This one, which I love, I think this is a fucking amazing song. Every riff in this is a fucking solid fucking riff. Funky Town.
Oh, Funky Town, yeah. Oh, yeah, Funky Town rocks.
Lips Incorporated, I believe is what.
Yeah.
Such a good song. My Sharona, number 15 on this list. So that means it probably came out in February or something. Rock With You, Michael Jackson again, off the wall.
Okay.
Cruisin', not sure. Refugee, must be Tom Petty.
Tom Petty, wow, yeah.
Gotta be. It's about his time. Oliver's Army, The Logical Songs.
Oliver's Army is Elvis Costello.
Okay, there you go. Okay, okay. Cool, good. Logical Song, that's Supertramp.
But see, okay, now you got My Sharona, you got also, now we're knocking on the door of new wave. Elvis Costello's hitting the charts. My Sharona's appearing. Little things. Now, also, you'll see my inventions. These keyboards are coming into play in invention land. So you're going to be hearing keyboards. Casio's making a big thing. They're doing,
Well,
you
the
know,
Moogs. The
the
Moogs and
Moogs,
shit,
and yes.
So, What I Like About You, Romantics. I like that song. I love
like
that
the
song.
Romantics. They were cool.
Yeah.
They were fine.
That's great. Like a rock and roll band with the pop songs, and they got the Rickenbackers.
Except for the drummer sang, which I always felt was weird.
They're
But
just,
okay.
They're just thrashing it out. Like it. I like upbeat pop. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Hey, My, Into the Black. That's Neil Young.
Mm-hmm.
Rock and roll will never die. Boogie Wonderland, again.
Sure.
I Was Made for Loving You.
Oh, Kiss. All right. Well, Kiss is, yeah. Everyone loving Kiss. All us kids, you know.
Kiss go.
Yeah, Kiss was reigning supreme in the underneath, but Kiss wasn't really charting. That was just something everyone just passed around, you know.
So this is
Older brothers are
79.
getting through younger brothers.
This is after, I've watched a couple of Kiss documentaries in the past couple of years, just out of curiosity. So this is after the solo albums. When Kiss released the 4 solo albums,
Right.
Ace Frehley had a huge hit with that song.
Back in the New York Groove.
Back in the New York Groove.
That's still a pretty all right song.
Right. And so then when they got back together, I think this is like probably the next album or something like that. This is like Creatures of the Night or something like
All
that.
right.
Where they did I Love It Loud, which I like.
Yeah.
But I think this had I Was Made for Loving You, which was like straight up, because they were always working with songwriters and stuff like that.
Yeah, and this was the disco influence. Yeah, I was made for loving you.
100%. Well, and because that's what was hit.
Kiss
what was
fans
hot at the
hated
time.
it, but it was arguably one
charted.
of their biggest
It's
charting songs.
still one of the biggest songs.
Yeah.
That's still, people
I
love
kinda
that
liked
song.
It. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, nobody really doesn't like it,
Yeah,
except they
because
go,
you're
"That's
making
Kiss?"
a rock hybrid.
Yeah.
You're hybridizing disco and rock. They're the only ones who were doing it at the time.
Yeah. Song works, man. It's weird. Also, 1979, Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Oh, yeah, there we go. This is about the time I
Queen.
got my Queen the Game.
Right?
Queen the Game. That was one of my first cassettes.
This one, like foreshadowing, this one, Video Killed the Radio Star.
Oh, the Buggles.
Buggles.
Yeah, that's coming up. Very first video that's going to appear on MTV.
Yep. Ring My Bell, Anita, what's her face? After the Love Has Gone, Devil Went Down to Georgia, Born to Be Alive, Bad Girls, Don't Bring Me Down. Is that the
That's
Beatles?
ELO.
Don't Bring Me Down. Yeah,
Bruce.
I like that one. Boys Don't Cry, and the Beat Goes On, Ladies Night, Walking on the Moon.
Walking on the Moon's the Police.
Oh, that's right. Walking on the Moon. Ain't no stopping us now. Sarah, She's Lost Control. I Want to Be Your lover. Prince.
Oh, Prince was appearing here.
Yep, 1979, first Prince album.
And this is before Purple Rain, so...
Way before.
Yeah, this is his first album. What was the name of his song that he appeared with?
I Want to Be Your Lover.
I Want to Be Your Lover. I don't know that one, but I'd probably know if I heard it.
Coming out right before Pop Music by M.
Okay, here...
You want to talk about pop music?
Okay, now this is keyboards coming straight from England. You know, this is the English keyboard
Actually,
influence.
Germany, I think.
Germany,
I think the
okay.
guy was a German record producer.
Yeah. So the new wave is coming.
Yep.
The new wave is knocking on the door.
Yeah, it is. And it's sort of gimmicky songs like Video Killed the Radio Star and
I think it's society's way because there's a kerfluffle with the punk
music.
rockers hating disco, and then metal and rock is living
a lot
its own
of
world.
people were hating disco by 79.
Yeah, everyone's got disco burn, but they still wanted to dance. So here comes new wave is going to come right in there and fill that hole of disco.
Well, because punk was filtering around under the surface there. So the thing that new wave did was a lot of the early new wave bands sort of gravitated onto that punk attitude and that punk flavor. You think of like Missing Persons, Adam and the Ants. We'll get to
Sure.
this sort of,
Yeah, we'll
this
get
sort
to
of
that.
goodness. But yeah, there was definitely that sort of punk flavor. Even the Police.
Sure, sure. Yeah, they had it.
Escape, the Pina Colada song. Remember that one? Huh?
No, I don't know that one.
If you like pina coladas.
Oh, that. I didn't know that was called Escape. Okay.
Yeah, man. Breakfast in America, that's Supertramp.
Sure. Supertramp was big. My brother had the record.
Don't Do Me Like That. Who's that one?
Don't Do Me Like That.
Is that Tom Petty?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Working My Way Back to You, Forgive Me Girl. I feel like that's like the Four Tops or something.
Oh, yeah. That might have been resurged.
Right? Yeah, talk about resurgence. I mean, All My Love. Is that Buddy Holly? All my love, all my kisses.
But the Buddy Holly movie was getting big.
That's what I'm saying. And
Gary Busey.
And then I Fought the Law.
I Fought the Law?
Yeah.
Yeah, those must have been because of that movie.
It had to be. Because also around this time...
The Gary Busey movie.
Yeah. That was Gary... Because that was on last time on the list. Which at this point, being 79, a year after that, it's probably filtering down to like HBO and shit, where we would actually see it.
But yes, and also some of that 50s nostalgia was becoming appetizing in fashion and everything else, because there was the hippie fashion, but the greaser 50s fashion was coming back around.
Right.
So you had it with Grease, the movie Grease, the
Yes.
fashion, the look, and then these 50s songs even with the TV shows like Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days, that 50s aesthetic was coming back around. So here we go.
It was huge.
That
It
would
was-
explain the resurgence
It was
of
huge
like
with
Bill
the
Haley
Happy
in the
Days,
comics.
Laverne and Shirley, the Shawn and L,
Yeah.
like you said, man. Yeah, huge. Bella Lugosi's Dead.
Okay.
Making Plans for Nigel. Chiquita, the Aerosmith one.
Ah, yeah, Chiquita.
I
Yeah.
love that song.
Is that from Night in the Ruts?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's mixing horns with the guitars.
Yeah.
And man, there's something about like those baritone sax, they just blend with the
Yeah.
guitars so well. Those sort of,
Oh, the baritone set. Yeah, that one had it.
Oh,
it was
that-
kind of a bad mix because I had the cassette. I remember having it. It was kind of a bad mix, but it worked.
no, I thought,
I
I
like
thought it
Night
was
in the
great.
Ruts.
Yeah, I really like that album. I love Chiquita. Let's see what else we got here. Sailing.
Christopher Cross. Christopher Cross was a big deal. All our moms like Christopher
Yeah,
Cross.
Take the Long Way Home.
Supertramp.
Supertramp again. Yeah. Heartbreaker.
Pat Benatar.
Pat Benatar.
Wow, so Pat Benatar this is 79. We're not even to 80 yet. Pat Benatar.
And next, after Pat Benatar, Fool in the Rain.
Huh?
Led Zeppelin.
Oh, of course, Fool in the Rain. Arguably one of
Led Zeppelin's still around in 79.
Fool in the Rain is one of Zeppelin's songs that does not sound like Zeppelin. I swear to God, that song just sounds like where did that come from?
Yeah. And then there's a Barbra Streisand song called No More Tears. And then Dance the Night Away, Van Halen.
Oh, hey, the Van Halen.
Oops Upside Your Head by Gap Band. Heartache Tonight by the Eagles.
Oh, yeah, always an Eagles song.
Skipping a few of these. I don't know these. Like Too Much Too Young by the Specials. Knee Deep by Funkadelic. I Got You, Split Ends.
All right.
Ride Like the Wind.
Oh, Christopher Cross again.
Yeah. Voulez-Vous, ABBA. Let's Go by the Cars.
All right.
Yeah. And that's probably good. That's the first like 100. So
Pretty good.
once again, gives you an idea, a little bit different than the top 100.
If
in
you
the
had to
pop
make a
charts.
1979 mixtape, it would have all kinds of shit.
It
You know,
would.
It would
Yeah.
be, and it wouldn't be hateable.
There's a lot of sort of gimmicky stuff. I mean, My Sharona is the biggest song of the year, and that's a total gimmicky song.
But it's funny how you hear the Buggles song. It was the first video MTV will play.
Right.
And
And
the
I remember-
second video is going to be Pat Benatar.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, she was number 2. I want to say, I don't know what the third one was. I think might have been.
Yeah. Pat Benatar starts
Yeah.
coming out about now.
She was the first female artist to be
crushing
played on
it.
MTV.
Yeah, Neil Girardo, her fucking husband, really good songwriter. He had the nice crunchy tone. They just start fucking cranking him out of the park. Just
Oh yeah.
fucking
Neil
knocking him.
Girardo being the biggest hit too. Here we come. Here he comes with Rick Springfield's going to make an appearance. Neil Girardo's playing guitar
Yeah,
on the Rick
it's-
Springfield songs.
It's gonna be real interesting with the music here, pretty quick.
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
quick. So okay, so that's where we're at with the music side of things.
All right, let's go to TV.
TV is super interesting. Normally on
Make it
TV,
snappy.
I do the sort of compare, contrast, like what's new and what's different. Dude, everything's different.
All right, what do we
The
got?
tables have fucking turned hard. Remember last time who was huge? Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days,
Sure.
Riding High, Mork and Mindy, Three's Company? No. This is 1979 now. Number 1, 60 Minutes.
Oh, well, there's a lot of news going on, like I read earlier on.
Exactly.
You got a lot of political things, a lot of upheavals. You got everything from plane crashes to
3 Mile Island.
regime changes. Yes.
Yep. 60 Minutes, number 1. Three's Company.
Cool.
Number 2, going strong.
Love
late
it.
70s. Number 3, new show. That's Incredible.
Oh, with John Davidson.
Sarah Purcell,
Sarah
Fran
Purcell.
Tarkenton.
Fran Tarkenton. He was fresh off retiring from
Wasn't it Byron Allen on there?
No, Byron.
Who was the fourth guy? There were 4 people. Oh, John Davidson.
Yeah, I
John
said
Davidson, Sarah Purcell, Fran Tarkenton, and
I said John Davidson. Sarah Purcell. The blonde girl. That was Sarah Purcell, right?
oh, Skip Bailey.
Skip Bailey?
No.
Sound like you made that up.
No, I think I think I was taking that from
We'll know when we-
Benjamin
we'll
Bailey from Cash Cab. Skip, there was a guy named Skip on there. He had sort of blonde, kind of long hair, sort of goofy looking. He always wore like a sweater with a bell bottom.
Pretty good though. That's Incredible was fun because the whole family could watch
was.
That's Incredible. It
Yeah.
had all the elements.
Yep. Alice coming in at number 4, tied with MASH. Both been around for years.
Sure.
Why now? I think they're both kind of wrapping up towards endings.
Oh yeah.
Number 6, Dallas.
That was a big deal. That
Big
was a
deal.
big deal.
Starting to be a big deal here.
Yeah.
Got bigger in the 80s, way bigger in the 80s. Number 7, Flo.
Flo,
Spinoff from Alice.
spin-off of Alice. Yeah, Flo. Yeah, they're the diner waitresses.
Yep.
Mel's Diner.
Jeffersons, Dukes of Hazzard.
Love it.
One Day at a Time. Archie Bunker's Place.
Ugh. Okay.
Which, just to put this in perspective, number 4 through number 11, all CBS.
Wow, they were hitting home runs.
Alice, MASH, Dallas, Flo, Jefferson's, Dukes of Hazzard, One Day at a Time, Archie Bunker's
I want
Place.
to see something real quick. CBS.
All CBS.
So CBS. Well, I'm just looking at the Saturday morning cartoon list. CBS was not hitting it out of the park
No,
on
they
Saturday
weren't.
morning. They were missing the mark on the morning.
Yeah, they were
Oh
never good
yeah,
with
they're
cartoons.
totally missing the mark. Okay.
Next to our ABC, 8 is Enough and Taxi. Something called House Calls.
I don't know that one.
Oh, no, wait, here it is. Maybe it wasn't That's Incredible. Real People.
Real People.
That's the one with, no, wait.
No, That's Incredible had John Davidson for sure.
And Kathy Lee Gifford. No, Kathy Lee Crosby.
Kathy Lee Crosby, you're right.
That's Incredible with Sarah Purcell. Skip, what's his name?
Fran Tarkenton. No,
Skip
it was
Bayless?
Fran Tarkenton.
On,
That's Incredible was Fran Tarkenton.
yes.
And
John
and
Davidson.
Kathy Lee.
And Kathy Lee Crosby.
Yeah. And,
Maybe just those 3.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no
Then
fourth
and
guy.
then there was Real People, where there was that Skip guy, Sarah Purcell, Byron Allen.
There we go.
Yeah, okay.
It was it was kind of a knockoff of that.
I forgot about Real People.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this shit.
Young Byron Allen, who was a fresh comedian then.
He was like 18.
Yeah, he was like a young comedian.
Yeah. Little House on the Prairie, Happy Days, Chips, Trapper John MD, Charlie's Angels,
Oh yeah.
Barney Miller,
Oh, Barney Miller was a big deal.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
I like that one.
I think that's a new appearance.
Oh, okay. I thought that was older, but okay.
No, 79 sounds about right for that. Benson,
Benson, yeah.
right?
Okay.
Which is a spinoff from Soap.
Yeah.
Love Boat, still.
Love Boat, Fantasy Island.
Soap. Different Strokes hanging in there. Mork and Mindy hanging in there. Fantasy Island hanging in there.
Okay.
10 Speed and Brown Shoe.
Oh, my dad watched 10 Speed and Brown Shoe. I always remember the name. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Who the hell was in that?
There was a guy in a tracksuit. I know that. There's a black guy in a tracksuit, like a red tracksuit.
Oh my God.
And then the other guy was kind of like an odd couple thing.
Right.
Yeah. He was kind of like a J.J. Walker without being J.J. Walker, I think.
So these are 4 shows tied for number 29. 10 Speed and Brown Shoe, ABC Sunday Night Movie, Vegas, and Knots Landing. They all have a 20 share.
Yeah.
So TV is definitely getting shook up.
Yeah.
You know, the Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley's out, 60 Minutes is in. We got That's Incredible. We got Real People. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Things are shifting.
Same.
But they're not schmaltzy old school variety shows.
No.
But a lot of spin-offs happening.
And a lot of sitcoms.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Sitcoms are definitely...
Probably because they're cheaper to make.
Yes.
and they could pump them out.
Yep.
The studio can pump them out. Whereas an episode, it'd probably be a lot more to pump out an episode of Dallas than it would have been to pump out 10 episodes of Jeffersons.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, because Jefferson's is all just mostly in that one set.
Yeah, it was a play.
That living room
might as
set.
well have been a play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, you want to go over movies real quick? Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the 1979 movies. These are the top grossing movies. And then I had a list of sort of like best movies of 1979. There might be some differences. We'll see. All right, top grossing movies of 79. You want to guess?
79? Oh, gee, I don't even know. I would, well, I mean, we're in the Star Wars land, so Star Wars still reigning supreme in the talk. But 79, I don't know. It's going to be a Rocky movie, Rocky 2 probably in there. Is there got to be a Rocky 2 in there? Rocky 3?
Yes.
3?
It is number 3. It's Rocky 2 in third place.
Okay.
The number 1, Superman.
Oh, yeah, the Christopher Reeves. Okay.
So apparently it was released December 15th, 1978.
Oh, hence why it was on last week.
So it's a 78 release, but 79 was where it was really gathering traction.
Christopher Reeves is a big deal.
Yep. Number 2, Amityville Horror. James Brolin, Margot Kidder. That was a whole big thing when we were kids. It was on the daytime talk shows, the book, the story.
Oh,
the whole
yeah, and
thing.
every Donahue and every Geraldo episode, you know, there's always the paranormal.
Look at the house with the creepy windows.
Oh, yeah, the flies, yeah.
With the flies, that's right. Number 3, Rocky 2.
Okay. Now, that was the one where he tried to beat Apollo Creed, right?
Yeah, for the second match.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess he does win. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Number 4, Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Oh, that was the boring one.
The boringest one.
Yeah, the boringest
The
one.
most boring one. There is not a Star Trek motion picture more boring than Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
I know. If it wasn't so boring, I'd almost watch it again and see where it went wrong.
Pop it on.
Set
the timer. You know what I mean? Give yourself a stopwatch like a dead man's hand.
Yeah,
so when
could
you
you
fall
grade
asleep,
it on the
stops.
curve and say, all right, I see where, was it the sign of the times or was it a bad written movie?
Flip it on and watch it. The first 20 minutes will show you what's up.
In a good way or a bad way?
The first 20 minutes, you get the introduction of the characters, you get the reintroduction of the Starship Enterprise.
Sure.
The whole scene where they're pulling it out of dock, which they made total fun of in Galaxy Quest, where they're scraping the paint. And then you start to get the Stephen Collins character, the bald chick character. They were supposed to be a thing. They had no chemistry. You'll see. Watch the first 20 minutes. You'll get it. You'll get it. Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Mm-hmm. Apocalypse Now, number 5.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's arguably, that's in, well, because, we just wrapped up Vietnam, but now we need some pop culture Vietnam stuff coming through, you know? The movies made thereof.
So typically the thing is that the war movies don't get made without the assistance of the military because you need so much military hardware in order to do it. The helicopters, the guns,
the helicopters and stuff.
all that sort of stuff. And so they don't like their operations being portrayed in a negative light. So the only way that Apocalypse Now, which is a very critical look at America's involvement in the Vietnam War, could get made was outside the U.S.
There we go.
So they went and filmed it in the Philippines?
Is that when they did it?
Yeah, I believe it was the Philippines. So anyway, after Apocalypse Now, I mean, serious time in 1979, right? Number 6, The Muppet Movie.
Oh, wow.
Came out in 79.
I remember that too. Yeah, I saw it in the theater. Big deal.
And we didn't like the darkness stuff going on, so we went back for a double dip. The Jerk.
The Jerk.
1979.
See, isn't it funny? It's now all these. This is about when my brain's starting to remember things, and I'm picking up on pop culture because, as I told you before, my first cassettes were like Queen the Game, and I remember having Steve Martin's cassette tape.
Wild and Crazy Guy.
Yep, at the same time, and going from that to that, and then like grabbing Judas Priest, and then listen, you know, and The Jerk was a big deal, and the Muppet. I had the Muppet soundtrack. You know, it was weird.
Yeah, The Jerk's hysterical.
Oh, The Jerk was great. Still holds up.
Moonraker.
I asked about that last week. Yeah. James Bond in space.
Is this the first Roger Moore one?
Maybe. I just remember the guy with the big teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the Roger Moore James Bond. I wonder, is this the first one or not? I don't know. I forget. I specifically remember this one from HBO. Because this was when I was about the age where like I knew what James Bond was, and this felt like the current James Bond sort of situation. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh yeah, this is the new James Bond. And I watched it and I was like, really? This is the James Bond? It's fucking like...
It was space.
No, you know what? This wasn't the first one. The first one was The Man with the Golden Gun.
That's it.
That was it. Okay. Number 9. 1979. Alien.
Kramer versus Kramer?
Alien.
Oh, Alien. Okay.
Fuck yes.
Kramer versus Kramer.
I think we already did that one. Number 10. Ironically, 10.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Splash, but okay.
No, that's much later.
Okay.
That's like 84. This was the Blake Edwards, Dudley Moore, Bo Derek. 10.
Oh, Dudley Moore's been in a couple things. Now, Dudley Moore hasn't done the drunk movie. Hasn't done Arthur yet, has he?
No, but remember last time we talked about Foul Play.
Yes.
Chevy Chase, Goldie Hawn one. Dudley Moore plays a lecherous guy who's coming on to her. She's trying to hide out in his apartment, and he's like opening up the Murphy bed, and he's got the disco lights going and the inflatable
Kind of like an
dolls.
Austin Powers-y kind of thing.
Yeah, and he's sort of drunk, and he's trying to bang her, but she doesn't notice because she's looking out the window. She's looking for the albino guy who's chasing her, you know.
Yeah,
Foul
but he's
Play's
laid a
hysterical.
precursor to the Arthur character.
Arthur, yeah. Exactly. But, to be fair, back in England, Dudley Moore was part of a comedy duo with Peter Cook.
So he's already a big deal overseas.
And he had been doing the drunk character for many years. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was the English equivalent of Foster Brooks over there. He's their Foster Brooks.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And Peter Cook, if you know Peter Cook, he was great.
Yeah.
He was great. Number 11, Love at First Bite.
Oh. Is this a vampire movie?
This is the vampire movie. Is this the one with... This is the one with Jim Carrey.
No.
This is the one with Jim Carrey and Lauren Hutton.
No.
I believe so.
No.
Yeah, let me look into this
Jim
real...
Carrey, he wasn't out in 1979. He would have been 10.
Let's see.
I think the Lauren Hutton Jim Carrey thing is a remake of that.
Cast and crew. Oh, no. Okay. No, this is the one with George Hamilton as Dracula.
All right.
Love at First Bite. Okay.
Okay, so that the one you're talking with Jim Carrey and Lauren Hutton, that was a remake.
No.
Because they were a couple.
It was a different name. Yeah. Yeah, he was like a schlub, and he...
Yeah, what they called, Vamped or something stupid, or?
Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll get to it.
All
right. Escape from Alcatraz. The Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah, I guess. So in 1979, there was a big deal. I don't know if it was like the 100th anniversary of Alcatraz. Did it get started in 1879? I believe Alcatraz started as like a penal colony for Civil War.
Yeah, or didn't they close it? Did they close Alcatraz?
Yes, maybe they have closed it as an actual prison, and it started to become a touristy spot.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Movie
that's
and
what it was.
da-da-da.
Because boy, you couldn't fucking, like, it was all fucking goddamn Alcatraz all the time. Everybody yapping about Alcatraz.
Yeah, it might have been a book too. I could picture it being a book. Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah, Escape from Alcatraz. Yeah. Oh, that shit. Yeah, it was annoying. Meatballs.
Oh, Meatballs.
Bill Murray starring vehicle. Not a
Yeah,
good
I mean,
movie.
I liked it as a kid, but in
Yeah.
hindsight, I don't think it would hold up to nowadays.
No,
I bet it stinks.
It does not hold up. Well, I tell you, even Ghostbusters. You watch first Ghostbusters, and Bill Murray's character is kind of a dick. Like you're kind of with the guy from the city.
This might be a comedian no, but I don't find Bill Murray that funny. I like his serious roles, like I liked them in the Japan movie, but
Oh, Lost in Translation.
yeah, I liked him there, but I never found him that funny.
There was a time period where his sort of snark was the thing, and it starts with Meatballs.
Yeah.
And it ends about Ghostbusters. Next up, The Electric Horseman. Robert Redford. Remember this?
No.
He's in New York City. He's like a fucking cowboy, and he's got lights all over himself and his horse. It's dumb.
Okay.
I don't know much about the movie. Speaking of that, Manhattan. This is Woody Allen. Starting over, The In-Laws. The In-Laws is great. Alan Arkin, Peter Falk. Come on.
Oh, Peter Falk. Okay.
Those guys are great.
He was a big deal.
Black Stallion, the main event. This is Barbra Streisand, Ryan O'Neal.
Yeah.
Battle of the Sexes type thing. The Black Hole, there it is.
The Black Hole, yeah, I saw that in the theater, and I remember thinking how depressing and kind of cold and scary it was.
It is.
And I was young, and I think that's one of those ones I saw by myself, and I was kind of like petrified. Like
it's a kids movie, not made for kids. Like
yeah, somehow I was watching it. And I was like
it
9.
is existential dread to the entire thing. It is fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember feeling empty.
China Syndrome, just like you were saying. 3 Mile Island. Okay, this one I find fascinating. Nobody knows this one but me. 1941.
Oh, yeah, that was Belushi.
Belushi. This is Steven Spielberg's comedy. If you want an idea of Steven Spielberg's idea of what's funny, 1941.
It's got to be.
With John Belushi.
And imagine if that wasn't John Belushi, it'd probably be even way more terrible.
Yeah, I watched that a lot on HBO. I was fascinated with it.
Or at how bad it was? Or just...
It's like...
Or did you just want to like it because it was John Belushi?
You know how Spielberg sort of creates these realities with like Jaws and Close Encounters and stuff? He created this reality of this small California seaside town that is in the grips of panic after Pearl Harbor was attacked. It's in the weeks after Pearl Harbor was attacked, and they're convinced the Japanese are going to attack California, the coast of California, any day.
That's cool. I mean, I like it as an elevator pitch. If you were to say this is our setup, I'm cool with that as a setup. All right, we got a world. We're in a world.
I find it fascinating.
Yeah, that's a good world.
Ned Beatty's in it, Eddie Deason, it's like, oh, it's hysterical. It's great. Okay, And Justice for All. It's a lawyer drama with Paul Newman. The Champ. It's a drama with Ryan O'Neal and Ricky Schroeder.
Young Ricky Schroeder.
Being There. What's his face? Peter Sellers.
Okay.
Chapter 2. Don't know what it is. It says it's a comedy. Going in Style. Going in Style is a comedy with old fogies. It's like George Burns, Art Carney.
Walter Matthau.
Something like that. I think they try and do a heist.
Oh, okay. Ocean's 1?
Yeah. Yeah. The Rose.
Oh, yeah, that's where the song.
The Bette Midler, yeah. Prophecy, remember this one? It was about like a mutated bear in Washington State. Prophecy.
No,
like a horror movie.
Sounds fascinating.
Yeah. I don't remember the movie, but I remember the book. My parents had the book, and I remember when it came out. I remember it was around, but I remember the movie actually wasn't that interesting. No. It was basically...
It's hard to film a bear.
It was Jaws in the woods with a bear instead of Jaws. So the bear shows up for a total of like 4 minutes out of the whole thing. Okay. Oops. Next, The Warriors. Here we go.
Oh, The Warriors. Yeah, that was a Maxwell special.
Love The Warriors. Warriors is it's a remake of one of those old Greek tales of like the Odyssey or something like that. Soldiers trying to find their way back home, sort of thing. So it's a modern retelling, updated.
Now, has anyone done a half-ass attempt or good attempt at remaking that?
I don't think you can, because the thing that makes The Warriors work is the style. And the style of it
in New York City in the 70s.
The late 70s, New York City, where it's virtually a war zone, devolved into street crime is broken up into these factions, these gangs that are now sporting matching outfits with themes. It's fascinating. You can't remake that shit now. No one would believe any of that. I barely believed it back in the 70s.
Yeah, I know. True, but it would be a funny, weird thing.
You'd have to make it an alternate reality.
For
sure. Streets of Fire.
Yeah.
Go watch Streets of Fire. All right. Norma Ray. Sally Field won an Oscar for this.
Okay.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Okay.
Horror. Every Which Way But Loose.
All right. There we go. Right Turn Glad. We like that one. That's a good one.
Which, didn't we have that on the list last time?
It was on the list last week, and that was because we were laughing because every year we've been doing this is Clint Eastwood, and then we were laughing because every top movie has either a monkey or an animal in it.
That's true.
Now we're putting a monkey with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Yeah, so Every Which Way Was Loose was released December 20th, 78. That's why.
That's why.
That's why.
But
so
now it's really
it must have
picking
been
up
doing gangbusters to make the list in '78 for only being out 11 days?
Sure, because it was Clint Eastwood with an orangutan.
And the whole thing was blowing up.
Yeah.
And that thing made it made like 21 million. After that, now is Dracula, which this is the Frank Langella one, where Frank Langella was Dracula.
Dracula, schmacula.
I know. A Force of One.
All right.
I don't know. Breaking Away. I fucking hate Breaking Away. The goddamn movie about the kids riding the bikes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I've never seen
Ugh,
it.
I fucking hate it. They're in Kansas or something. North Dallas 40. Remember this one?
No.
Mac Davis and what's his face?
Mac Davis was he the singer guy? He was the folk singer guy.
Yeah, he was the
from
guy.
the
And Nick
70s.
Nolte. This is one of Nick Nolte's fucking early roles.
Okay.
They're football players for this Dallas team. This is like the first sort of fictionalized sort of expose of pro football with the steroids and people playing through injuries and just how sort of brutal it is on their bodies.
The will to live. Yeah, the will to live versus compete.
Right. Okay. All right. Here's here's a couple. Okay. Hair.
Oh, Hair. Well, okay, that's the Broadway show
Right.
leaking into the mainstream.
Have you ever seen that movie?
Not the movie, no.
Oh man, it's
It's
fucking
corny.
so uneven.
But I
It's
know
weird.
I know the soundtrack very well.
Yeah, yeah. Once again, so going back to the old, disaster movies.
Oh, you gotta have a disaster movie.
The Concorde, Airport 79.
Oh, the Concorde plane crash.
There was no Concorde plane crash. This is just made up disaster movie bullshit. Because remember, there was Airport. There was Airport
Yeah.
75, Airport 77. This is Airport 79.
Yeah.
The Concorde is the new hip thing, so they're going to crash the Concorde. Next movie, I love this movie. Time After Time. This is with Malcolm McDowell, David Warner as Jack the Ripper. Malcolm McDowell is H.G. Wells. And they take the time machine to modern-day San Francisco, and they run into Mary Steenburgen, who works at a bank.
Oh, sweet Jesus, that sounds like a nightmare.
It's a great movie.
That sounds awful.
No, it's so over the time.
The elevator pitch, I would have been like, get out of my office.
It's great. I love Time After Time.
Mary Steenburgen, get out of my office.
Also, this one, The Frisco Kid. This is Gene Wilder and Harrison Ford.
All right.
Kind of a Wild West sort
Sure.
of thing. Number 44 is the re-release. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Now it is not Star Wars. It's Episode 4, because another one's in the works. Coming down the pipe. Dirt, Meteor, more American Graffiti, Agatha, Kramer versus Kramer. There it is. You know what's coming. Prisoner of Zenda, The Great Santini. Remember that one?
No.
Robert Duvall's sort of a dick. He was a Marine drill instructor. Miles
Yeah.
O'Keefe was his son.
All right, I've never seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Ugh. Dawn of the Dead. The Glacier Fox, Hanover Street. Fiddler on the Roof. When a Stranger Calls.
All right.
Roller Boogie. Have you seen that one?
No.
With Linda Blair from The Exorcist. Her and her buddies are trying to save the local skating rink from the evil developers. Roller Boogie.
Of course they are.
Roller Boogie's something else, man. The Great Train Robbery. The Great Train Robbery is like Donald Sutherland and I believe Sean Connery. It's written by and directed by Michael Crichton.
Based on a book, of course.
That he wrote. Yeah, I actually have it on DVD. It's kind of interesting.
right.
It's a well made flick.
So there's the movies, huh?
Yeah, that's about it.
right.
Yeah, that's about it for the movies.
Movies are, okay, we got a lot out of there. We got a lot of meat on the bone there.
But it's interesting because there's like between the songs, the TV, and the movies, it's like things are turning more serious. 60 Minutes is the top now. It's not the feel good Laverne and Shirley, happy days.
Escapism.
Right. The 60 Minutes is up there. We still got a lot of comedy stuff going on. My Sharona's the #1 song of the year. Really? I mean,
Yeah, I
God,
would have pegged that at
it was like
79.
9 months later, Weird Al turned it into My Bologna.
Yeah.
Deservedly so.
Yeah.
It's a goofy fucking song.
It's a weird time.
It's a weird time. It's very much transition.
Now, it's
time.
funny how, before I get into my quick stuff, 1979 to us still felt like 1975.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I remember I remember 1984, but the world I lived in, other than what was on the radio and TV, you'd look around, it felt like 74. You know what I mean? Like brown walls and bell bottoms and things. You know what I mean? So in suburbia, Erie, Pennsylvania, and growing up, pop culture was coming in, but the landscape wasn't getting changed, so it felt very.
But
70s.
I think somewhere around maybe 77 or 76, we got cable.
Sure.
We had got cable early. We got it over at the old house before we moved over to where we were when.
Yeah,
when
I
we
think
met.
we got something. Yeah, or we
'Cause I
had
remember-
like HBO or something. I don't know. My dad had something, but we couldn't watch it. Maybe it was the HBO package or something stupid.
Because I remember seeing Jaws on HBO,
Yeah.
and I remember asking my mom if Star Wars was going to come to HBO, and she just laughed. She's like, "Oh, that'll never happen."
Right.
Yeah.
As you're like, okay, I guess I'll watch Kramer versus Kramer.
Oh yeah, and The Verdict with Paul Newman and, and fucking And Justice for All. Yeah, Paul Newman had a bunch of courtroom.
Okay, I got to buzz through this because we're running out of time here, kids.
All right, let's hit it up.
Saturday morning grid. What do you want? Saturday morning. It's the fall.
It's in '79. You know, I gotta
You're
say
getting
this.
up in the morning.
At this point, the cartoons are starting to turn bad.
Well, yeah, that's what you're going to find out. Yep, they are getting bad. All right, it's 8 a.m., kids. You're waking up. You got ABC's got the world's greatest Super Friends.
Right, which is a rehash of Super Friends that we've already watched for a couple years.
Yes, so this is just like a reboot, and you're like, ew. And then, okay, CBS has New Adventures of Mighty Mouse and Heckle and Jekyll.
Dude, awful.
Yeah, that felt like that was like, oh, this is something my dad would watch.
Yeah,
This
these are
stinks.
cartoons from the 40s.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
it's like...
NBC had only a half hour of the Daffy Duck show,
Right.
but it changed over to Casper and the Angels.
Wow.
Stinks. All right, so, okay, let's just say, all right, we don't want to watch any of that. We'll watch the Super Friends. After the Super Friends on ABC, we went at 9 p.m. We went to...
9 a.m.
9 a.m. We went to Plastic Man Comedy Adventure Show. Plastic Man.
I remember that. That was bad.
I don't remember it, but I'm pretty sure it stunk.
Yeah, he was basically like one of those stretching guys.
Oh, yeah. He had the glasses. Yeah, he looked like, yeah.
Wasn't there a toy? I mean, I know there was Stretch Armstrong, but like, I feel like there was another stretchy type toy. I don't know.
And he had like a red suit. He looked like
That's
a
it.
Forest City Auto Parts
That's it.
guy.
Yeah, because he had the glasses on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The CBS had the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show. That's
remember
fine.
that.
That's where we would have ended up.
I mean, I remember the theme song from that.
Yeah, that's where I would have been hanging. Now, on NBC had the Fred and Barney Meet the Thing. What's this? Fred and Barney Meet the Thing.
Okay, so
For an hour.
The Thing, there was this cartoon. It was it's on the tip of my tongue. The humanoids or something like that.
Oh, the Herculoids.
Herculoids.
Oh, okay, I remember the Herculoids. Yeah, that was a Hanna-Barbera thing. I like the
There's a
Herculoids.
thing on there. He's like a stone guy. There was like a large blob and a small blob. There was the rock monster guy, and
Yeah,
then there was like the caveman.
Yeah, and there's like a He-Man looking guy. Yeah.
That's the caveman.
And, okay, and the Thing, yeah. Right, okay, all right, that makes sense.
So I think
Hanna-Barbera was pushing their thing.
they were pushing the old
They probably
school.
just played Hanna-Barbera shorts. And it probably rotated between Herculoids and weird Fred and Barney and weird episodes. And
Yeah, I think they were just taking like Flintstones gags, like bowling gags or Water Buffalo Lodge gags.
yeah, old stock footage that they had.
Yeah, I think they were just, I mean,
I don't
that's
even
bad.
know.
Yeah, they're trying to get more mileage out of that old footage.
But did you know that Plastic Man Comedy Adventure Show went from 9 to 11? That was 2 hours, that Plastic Man show.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, that Fred and Barney thing, Meet the Thing, that was an hour, but after that was the Super Globetrotters.
I remember that.
Remember the Globetrotters being a big deal back then?
Well, I think they were a spin-off from the later Scooby-Doos. 'Cause
Well,
remember,
yeah,
The
yeah.
Scooby-Doos were pretty dope, and then Scooby-Doo started doing where they would have special guest stars.
Yeah, they'd go from, oh, here's Don Knotts, and then all of a sudden it'd be like, the Globetrotters, there's
Yeah.
Kiss, you know.
Yeah, or Don Adams, yeah. From Get Smart. But yeah, I remember the Harlem Globetrotters episode.
Yeah.
And the Harlem Globetrotters were big at that time for doing like personal appearances on TV and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like we could actually rattle off names of probably like 8 Harlem Globetrotters from back in the day.
Oh, yeah. We all like Curly and, yeah.
Yeah, and fucking Metal
So
Rock
here we
Island.
go. But after Plastic Man went in, this is a new appearance at 11 a.m., was Spider Woman.
I remember this.
I don't remember Spider-Woman.
Yeah, it was like a red and yellow outfit.
Yeah.
But the thing was,
That was only a half hour, though. They didn't get much meat out of that.
well, no, that was the standard. I mean, to go an hour is a long time for animation.
Yeah. Well, guess what was on right after that? One of my most hated ones of them all. Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo.
This is what I'm saying.
Scrappy-Doo?
This is when it starts turning bad.
I hate Scrappy-Doo.
Scrappy-Doo, yeah, it's the worst.
You ruined the franchise.
Like, I didn't mind the crossovers when there was Scooby-Dum.
Yeah,
That was good.
Scooby-Dum was all right.
And I loved the crossover where it was crossover with Dynamut from Blue Falcon.
Oh, yeah, Dynamut was all right.
'Cause I
He was
love
all right.
Dynamut and Blue Falcon. I thought that was great.
Yeah, Dynamut was all right, but Scrappy
And
was just...
that crossover with Scooby-Doo and Dynamut, oh, that was grand when I was a kid. Loved it.
Scrappy-Doo. Yeah, okay, then the New Adventures of Flash Gordon were on at 11 a.m. too. Flash Gordon.
Wow. Once again, holy way to be in touch with the kids. Fucking 70-year-old programmers.
Well, guess what was on right after Super Globetrotters? You had to watch Adventures of Flash Gordon, then The New Shmoo. I don't know what The New Shmoo was.
That's it. That's the thing from Herculoids.
Ah. The New Shmoo?
So, was Herculoids big enough that they're doing the Thing show and then they're doing the Shmoo
Yeah.
show? Yeah, because Shmoo was the blob. Was
Yeah.
the large blob.
That's right.
And I think Shmee was like the little blob.
So they must have They must have plopped the Super Globetrotters in between there because they knew they were getting ratings. The kids are going to like the Globetrotters right here.
Well, everybody liked the Globetrotters. They were really hot in 79.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So-
they're trying to capitalize on that.
Well, here we go. CBS is pumping the all-new Popeye hour. No one's watching that.
Once again, from the 30s.
Popeye
Like, I remember that shit, like, when it was on, and it was like, I'm not watching Heckle and Jekyll. I'm not watching Mighty Mouse. I'm not watching fucking Popeye. You know what I mean?
No, that's old bullshit.
Fucking A. What's next? Fucking Andy Capp and Alley Oop?
I know. Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh, Betty Boop. Yeah, so at 11:30, though, we're getting later. Because keep in mind, now we're getting towards noon here. We've been watching cartoons all morning.
No, wait a second. Let me just rephrase that. Because we love the Warner Brothers stuff, the Tom and Jerry, even the Woody Woodpecker stuff. 40s, 50s.
Sure.
But a lot of that schmaltzy 30s stuff is fucking
No.
schmaltzy.
Yeah.
Schmaltzy.
I liked it in an animation sense, but I did not like it in a story sense. That's almost one I would almost watch without the sound. You know, you could just kind of like, just have it on just because I like
Yeah,
the
those,
visual.
like those old black and white ones that were set to
Right,
music that's terrible, so you just mute it.
Yeah.
They're just bouncing around.
But now we're at 11:30 in the morning here. So, you know, we've already eaten our cereal. You know,
I was
we're
running
getting,
down to it because at noon they start running stuff.
Yeah, well, at 11:30 is Scrappy-Doo. Then they move Fat Albert to 11:30 on the other channel.
Yeah.
And then below that is Godzilla.
I remember this.
And with Godzuki.
That didn't come in until next year, till 80, maybe 81, but yeah. But they've already started that whole god-awful trend with fucking Scrappy-Doo.
Right.
So it's just, I mean, it's a hop, skip, and a jump to go from Scrappy-Doo to fucking Godzuki.
That's exactly what they're doing. Yeah, because they're on this trend. We got to add something cutesy for the young kids.
This is the Cousin Oliver theory. This is all coming out of Brady Bunch.
Yes.
Well, I guess we weren't necessarily we started in 72, but yeah, Brady Bunch didn't.
They were always throwing a young, scrappy kind of mascot in there. Speaking of which, it's noon now. We're out of cartoons.
Well, can I just say, they're always trying to throw a scrappy mascot in there. Yeah. That's what Scooby was. We don't need Scooby fucking Scrappy-Doo.
Yeah.
We've already got Scooby-Doo. That's the point.
That's the whole point. I know. He's a
Putting
dog.
putting a hat on a hat.
Gotta have a dog. Well, okay, now we're at noon. Once we get to noon, though, it's ABC Weekend Specials. I don't even know what that is.
That's the after. Then they became the after school specials.
Or they're maybe rerunning the after school specials.
Those are the ones about the teenage alcoholic and the dangers of getting into a car with strangers.
Oh, what's wrong with Margaret as she's puking up her
What's
food?
wrong with Margaret? That's right. Yeah.
Right, okay. And then Jason of Star Command. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so that's a live action. It's like
Space kind of thing.
Yeah. I forget who was in it. I almost want to say like the bad guy was that Sid Haig.
Yeah, I don't think I watched that one because guess what was on at noon on NBC? Johnny Quest.
No, Johnny Quest is fucking dope.
That was dope. Yeah, we liked Johnny Quest, and after Johnny Quest was the Jetsons. Everything else was turning into American Bandstand in 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Everything goes into live action. Yeah, it was American Bandstand and then Soul Train. Oh, yeah.
But keep in mind, Johnny Quest was still on the Sunday thing. Now, Sunday, you know, they had other things, but in the spring, oh boy. See, that was the fall lineup. The spring lineup, they really...
For Sundays?
Yeah, for Sundays.
Because Sundays is a whole different beast. I remember Sundays being shit like, you know, the Davy and Goliath.
Oh, yeah,
I
whole
remember
different beast.
Phooey, Grape Ape. I remember Commander McBragg. Remember Tennessee Tuxedo. I remember Dudley Do-Right. These were the Sunday cartoons.
Yeah, but they went from the fall into the spring, and now they started doing things like they gave Scooby and Scrappy do an extra half hour in the spring. They gave Fred and Barney Meet the Shmoo.
Well,
they got rid of the thing, and they said Fred and Barney.
But it's
now
still
a 2-hour show called Fred and Barney Meet the Shmoo.
But it's still the Herculoids. They
Still
thought
the
thing
Herculoids.
was going to catch on, but it was Shmoo. But they hedged their bets and they spun them both out.
Yep. Casper and the Angels, the Jetsons, Johnny Quest, yeah. Shazam makes
But see,
an
by the
appearance.
spring, they tried shit out in the fall. Whenever it didn't work, they're making adjustments.
Yep, Saturday morning cartoons. The kids have spoken.
Fascinating.
We're almost done with 79. We're almost there. 134. We got to roll. Oh my gosh. Guess what came into views? Here we go for products, guys. You're going to like this one. The Sony Walkman.
Oh, wow.
The
First
big
came out
deal about
79.
Walkman makes an appearance. Getting ready for MTV Generation.
So it came out, but I don't think it was widely adopted.
No. It was just an iconic portable cassette player. At least it came out. It wasn't really a thing yet.
Right.
But Radio Shack released its first version
And
of
I mean,
TRS-80
was it even
computers.
in America at this point? Was the Walkman even in America at this point?
I don't know.
Because it was released, it may have just been in Japan.
That seems like something my dad would have brought back from the Orient. You
Right.
know, he would have came back from Japan on a trade show and said, "Look what I found." You know, or at least had a flyer about it. Let's see. Okay, Science and Discovery. They discovered hydrothermal vents, smoke chimneys spewing scalding hot fluids in the water. Hydrothermal vents were a thing.
Oh, this is underwater.
Underwater.
Okay, so this is, okay. So because of Jaws, people got interested in sharks. And because people got interested in sharks, they started to get interested in oceanography.
And they're going under.
And I think it was around this time that they started to discover like the Marianas Trench in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, all this sort of stuff. Bermuda Triangle was hot.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, people are taking more fascination with the ocean.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Definitely the oceans.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Before I get out of it, I got a new thing. Okay, real quick. Aussie shampoo. Black & Decker Dustbuster came out. Remember the Black & Decker Dustbuster?
Once again, it came out, but it really didn't catch on.
No.
They started pushing it hard in the early 80s to where it became ubiquitous. You had to have a Dustbuster.
Oh, we all had one. Yeah, the tan one that went on the wall.
Terrible.
I know. They didn't have much power and didn't last very long.
No.
Good idea, though. Ferrero Rocher, those little ball.
Yeah, the chocolates, the
yeah.
fancy chocolates. That started in 79. Once again, may have came out in 79, was not a thing. I think it was like 83, 84 they really started pushing those. You know, it might have been Christmas 82 they really started pushing
Well,
those.
they were trying to probably find an adult version of candy because candy was starting to get marketed towards children.
Yeah.
Parents didn't have their candy. So
Right.
they needed like, oh, we're going to go
Fancy.
for a Rocher.
Yeah.
You know, and we're going to pair it with champagne.
It's French,
you know?
it's fancy, it's wrapped in gold.
Yes.
Yeah, they were like gold chocolate balls.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but I do remember, like, as we get into the 80s, like, the early 80s was kind of a magical time because the cable TV rolled out big. And so
Marketing campaigns rolled out big.
somebody like Ferrero Rocher could hit the fucking national marketing hard, and all of a sudden it's a thing.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, and the marketing departments were working overtime.
Fast.
So here we go. We got the game Guess Who.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. The Happy Meal for McDonald's came out
Wow, it's 79.
for $1.10.
Yeah, well, but you know, it's fascinating that it was only a couple years, like a year or two before that they came out with the named sandwiches. I'm surprised you're not telling me the Big Mac came out in 79.
No, it's
Because
the
the
Happy
Whopper
Meal.
came out in like 77.
Guess what else came out? Honey Nut Cheerios.
Interesting.
Hubba Bubba Grape.
I liked Hubba Bubba.
Yeah.
You know the thing about Hubba Bubba that was great? I believe that was the one that didn't stick to your face.
Oh yeah, you could. Yeah, or if it did, you could take another piece of Hubba Bubba and stick it on there. Like it was kind of like you could use the gum to get it off your lips.
No,
or
that's
something?
what you had to do with usual gum.
Oh,
But,
is it?
I think the Hubba Bubba didn't stick to your face.
I don't know.
I think so.
The Korg Sigma, the keyboard.
Oh, wow.
The leg warmers came out. Hello, 80s.
Once again, they may have came out in 79, but they did not get big until Flashdance.
Yep.
In like, what was it,
But leg
82?
warmers. Yep, leg warmers.
Oh, you know what? Wait a second. I do remember the leg warmers. Because you know what also started around here, which is probably not on your list, and nobody fucking ever talks about, which, look into it. Fascinating. Jazzercise.
Oh.
You remember this?
Yeah.
Because we had the HBO, the Showtime, and Cinemax. Showtime used to have this shit at like 5 in the morning. Mm-hmm. They'd have Jazzercise. So they had chicks in fucking spandex leotards.
Ooh.
With the like the onesie thing over it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the leg warmers.
I see.
And they used to do this is before Jane Fonda did it and made it big.
Oh boy. All right.
Yep. It was quasi softcore porn.
It was. Yeah. It was for young boys to masturbate to.
Yeah, and they had those early '80s video graphics on it. So the chick would be like exercising, and then they'd have these like colored bands coming off in the shapes.
Yeah. Like little psychedelics.
Yeah.
Okay, leg warmers. We got Maglite, mellow yellow. Yeah, the Maglite.
Maglite, sorry. Yeah.
Mellow yellow. We got the ring pop.
Mellow Yellow just started?
Yep, mellow yellow. Yeah.
All right.
Also, Rolla Cola was a big deal, which was from Erie.
What is?
Rolla Cola.
Huh.
Which probably got spun off into RC, but Rolla Cola was. I wore the shirt last week.
No, it was Royal Cola was RC.
No, okay, but Rolla Cola was from Erie.
Never heard of it.
You never? Yeah.
Huh.
No, I wore the shirt last week. Simple Green, the cleaning solution.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunkissed, soft drink.
Oh, the orange soda.
Yep.
Okay, so but there was probably already the Sunkissed brand for oranges, yes?
No, it just says Sunkissed soft drink.
Sunkissed soft drink, but there was already Sunkissed oranges and Sunkissed orange juice.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Check this out. Strawberry shortcake came out.
But wait a second. Huh? Just thinking about the Sunkissed orange soda.
Yeah.
So what we're saying here is that there was Sunkissed as a brand. They had oranges. And then they had Sunkissed orange juice, because that was a thing.
Sure.
But it's like we've been saying, it's where pop culture starts to realize what it's doing. It starts to look at itself. And Sunkissed, the number one orange purveyors, orange juice purveyors, go, well, there's orange soda out there, and it's not Sunkissed.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's all these upstarts. You got Rolla Cola, you got all these things, you got Mellow Yellow, everyone's branching out. So it's kind of like the cola wars are starting to, people are going,
well, this is before the 80s conglomeration. This is when you could have Fritos and Lay's.
Yeah.
Before you get Frito-Lay.
Sure.
You know?
Okay, thin slate gloves. Thin slate.
Yeah,
Tostitos.
See, now this is the start of tortilla chips in America.
Yeah, we talked about this two episodes ago, 78, where the Mexican culture was starting to infiltrate pop culture with their food.
Well, the marketers were looking at it as an untapped demographic.
Yes.
Because they were looking at California, New Mexico, Texas, the whole southwestern area, and they go, well, we're not advertising to these people.
Yeah.
So.
Well, top Christmas gifts of 79, Strawberry Shortcake, Millennium Falcon, Star Wars, Sony Walkmans, Lego space sets. Yeah, top Christmas gift, of course, was still the Connect 4, the Simon Says, the Speak and Spell, the Hungry Hippos,
Speak and Spell.
Atari 2600, and Stretch Armstrong. Those were the top Christmas gifts.
Atari 2600 was huge.
Oh, yeah. Hungry Hippos, yeah. Huge. 79's a good list. You know what? We're running late. We can't do a list this week, can we?
Crank it out.
It'll be quick. I got a quickie.
All right.
Here's our list. Best of.
Top 5 out of 5.
Top 5 bottom. Best worst 70s, 80s TV and movie robot characters.
Oh, shit.
Robot characters.
All right. Let's do the worst first.
Oh, the worst. Well, oh, boy. Well, I put Kit from Knight Rider.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Yeah, he skunks.
Fucking AI. Yeah, it was the voice. It was the voice of William Daniels from St. Elsewhere.
Oh, that's right, St. Elsewhere guy. That's
Michael. Right.
Oh, Michael. Yeah.
It's like having your fucking disapproving uncle riding in the car with you.
I know. Yeah, the St. Elsewhere guy.
He's like, we need to go into turbo mode. Michael, we can't do that. It's like, turbo mode!
Yeah, disapproving uncle. I don't think we should do that.
Oh, my God.
Johnny 5, number 4. Short Circuit, the movie.
Circuit? The movie?
Yeah, that I don't know what year that was, like 86.
Yeah.
84.
I think so. I think 86.
Yeah, Johnny 5 stinks.
Yeah.
All right, here's another worst robot character. K9 from Doctor Who.
Oh, wow.
Stinks!
I don't remember. I wasn't a Doctor
The
Who
original
watcher.
Doctor Who on Channel 54, it was literally, it looked like a triangle with a metal dog's head. And it just went.
So it's like the dog version of the Dalek?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It was dumb.
Yeah.
All right, my worst, I hated this one.
This
Number 2, Tweaky and Dr. Theopolis from Buck Rogers.
It wasn't that bad. Come on.
Well, I like Dr. Theopolis. I like the idea of Theopolis. But the Tweaky...
Beady. Come on.
Yeah, the Tweaky voice was so bad. And the Tweaky...
Well, it was Mel Blanc doing it.
That was savable, but no, it wasn't even fun. It stunk. And he had the dumb helmet hair.
It was, but
it
was iconic.
And Dr. Theopolis needed which was a clock on his chest.
Yeah.
Needed a vessel to move around in.
Yeah, but it was an iconic sort of character. The two of them together. I mean, it became sort of iconic.
I liked how they were symbiotic.
It is sort of dumb, but when we were kids, it was sort of endearing.
And was Dr. Theopolis the same guy's voice from KITT?
I feel like Dr. Theopolis was...
It very well could be. Well, imagine if it was.
No, I feel like it was the same guy who was the older doctor in the first season of Buck Rogers.
Okay.
There was the older doctor guy back at the base.
On my worst list, and then before I get to number 1.
Oh, no, wait. No, I think it was a well-known character actor guy who was doing that.
Honorable mention gets, Robot from Lost in Space. He stinks.
Oh, yeah.
That stinks just because the waving arms and da-da-da, and it's like...
You know, I saw a documentary on YouTube recently about, was it Robbie the Robot?
No, or just Robot. They just call him Robot, I think.
Okay, so there's the robot from Lost in Space. Was that the one that walked around?
Yeah, well, he didn't walk. He kind of rolled. But he looked like a giant slug with a glass thing on top and the little thing, And he had the wavy arms with the...
Because they were talking about the original robot was Robbie the Robot from, not Day of the Earth Still. It's one of those classic sci-fi movies from back in the day.
Yeah, they all kind of look the same back then.
Like Forbidden Planet or something like that.
Yeah, it was that look.
And that robot got reused.
Yeah, they used them in a couple different things.
Everything. All the TV shows. They'd replace the head, replace the arms. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God,
Okay.
They reworked that.
All right, so what do you got for good robots from 70s, 80s?
Well, I didn't go number 1. Number 1 could be that. But there's a real bad one that really made the list. And
wait, what do you mean you didn't go number 1?
Well, that would have been Robbie the Robot, or Robot from Lost in Space could have been number 1. But this one...
So you just honorable mentioning it?
This could be honorable mention, too. Do you remember Rocky IV?
You need to pick one. Like, what's number 1?
All right, we'll call it Robot from Lost in Space.
Okay, all right, cool.
Here's an honorable mention. Do you remember this one?
Yeah.
This one will make you really mad. Listen to this one.
From Rocky IV.
Rocky IV.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Paulie's Robot.
Yeah, that was awful.
Psycho or Sicko.
It was the stupidest fucking thing.
Paulie had a robot that served him a lunch, didn't it?
So the thing is Sylvester Stallone's son Sage was about 9 at this time and was really into Star Wars. So Stallone goes, hey, your dad's making a new movie. It's a Rocky movie. And his kid goes, are there any robots in it? His dad goes, no, it's about boxing. And the kid goes, boring. So Stallone's like, I got to get robots into Rocky IV.
Right. So he gets robot, and he gets Paulie, his trainer, to have a robot.
So then Paulie's arc is, he's just lounging about the house with the robot bringing him beers.
Yeah. Yeah. Stunk. Stupid. The worst thing I've ever seen in my life. That makes me want to fight people.
Stupid.
All right, here's the best robots. This one goes without saying. This kind of writes itself. But now I got to go number 5 with this one. We all know. Come on, it's Star Wars. We go C-3PO, R2-D2. They're fine.
Oh, the parent? You're putting me at 5? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I happen to sort of...
I almost was going to leave it off the list because it's obvious.
I sort of love R2-D2.
I like C-3PO in a weird way because I like
C-3PO
the fact
annoys
he was
me.
a language one because he was a language that because he could interpret.
Yeah, but talk about the disapproving uncle.
Yeah. Well, that was a trope back then. Yeah. All right, number 4, we'll go 1987's Ed 209, RoboCop.
That was pretty cool.
Gotta love RoboCop.
That was pretty cool. And that was from RoboCop 2, right? Or was that the first one?
No, the first one was 1987.
Okay.
Yeah, RoboCop 2 was like 89.
Right, but Ed 209 was in the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
RoboCop was cool. I like,
Yeah.
he was cool.
Oh, that thing was just a gun platform.
It was a reason to blow up shit.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Westworld 73, number 3.
The Yulebrenner?
The
gunslinger?
Yeah, you got to admit, the gunslinger in Westworld was a pretty damn good robot.
Especially when we were kids.
Yeah, because he was kind of android-y robot, which brings us to number 2, 1987, Star Trek Next Generation, Data.
Oh, Data, yeah.
Data's
the best.
arguably one of the best robots out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Data's fount of story ideas.
Yeah, that and just how he was aware of himself and he wanted emotion.
But that's the whole thing, the fond of the story ideas. The fact that he doesn't have emotions, the fact that he doesn't understand humor.
Yes. And my number 1, here we go, is Model 800.
Terminator. I was gonna say, where are you going with this whole thing that doesn't end in Terminator?
I know Terminator's got to be the best robot out there.
And I tell you what, I know people like to go Terminator 2, Terminator 2. No, Terminator. Watch that first fucking movie.
Yeah.
It is,
and especially because it came out by
unsettling.
surprise.
Yeah, it is. I didn't even know that shit existed. And it just rolled up on HBO one night, and I was like, "What's this?" And I think the first shot is the metal foot stepping on the skulls.
Of course.
It's like, holy shit.
And you mix that with post-apocalyptic scenarios and
Dude,
you're in the business.
Terminator is, it's like people that go, Empire's better than Star Wars. Nope. Star Wars is such a good movie, it sucks you in.
I have honorable mentions real quick
so good.
before we wrap it up. Honorable mentions didn't make the list. I like the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, they were sort of fun.
They were
when
kind
we
of scary.
kids.
They kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies when I was a kid.
I dug them. I thought they were cool.
Yeah. I mean, I almost
because you know what, the way they shot it, if you remember, back in the TV show, it was always sort of dark, and it was like that light going back and forth, and they come out of the darkness. It was cool the way they did it.
Yeah, and I kind of had, I had like semi heebie-jeebies from them.
Yeah.
Hal from 2001: Space Odyssey. That was an honorable mention. Hal was good.
If you're gonna mention Hal, you better be mentioning
Kit.
No, Ash. Alien.
Oh, yeah.
And by that matter, Bishop from Aliens.
Right. And that would have been a runner-up. Cherry 2000 was a runner-up. Anything a Blade Runner.
Cherry 2000. What?
Whoa, it's kind of hot.
Oh, my God. Who was that?
All right.
Who was that?
I don't know.
Was it Melanie Griffith?
I think so.
Yeah, like an 18-year-old Melanie Griffith?
I think so. Yeah. I liked it.
It's something about... Is she like a robotic virgin? Is that what it is?
Cherry 2000?
What was the last...
I haven't seen it since probably 1989.
I know it existed. I don't know if I ever watched it.
Yeah, that was one of those ones on HBO at like 9:30 or like 11:30 at night.
Like Cinemax.
Yeah, that might even been. Yeah, that might even be one of those you got to watch through the squiggle. You got to set the tracking. And watch through the squiggles.
No. We had Cinemax, but the point was, I mean, people like to go Cinemax. The point was, Cinemax did nothing but movies. They didn't run boxing. They didn't run. Showtime had Bizarre with John Biner. Showtime had these fairy tale, things that they were doing. Shelley Duvall was directing them and stuff like that. Cinemax is nothing but movies, wall-to-wall movies. And there was a lot of interesting art movies that I saw on Cinemax that you didn't see on anything else.
Yeah. And that was
foreign movies.
And you could see some titties, and it was all right, but it wasn't bad. It was like
but
Emmanuel
honestly,
or something.
There's titties in everything.
Yeah.
There's titties in everything. Watch Airplane. There's gratuitous bouncing boobs for no reason in Airplane.
That's true.
I mean, PG movies had boobs at this time period.
This is true.
Go back and look. So it's like, people go, oh, Cinemax, oh, here's naked boobs on Cinemax. You can see naked boobs on fucking PG movies, buddy.
You could, yeah.
So, I mean, are there boobs in Goonies?
No, but I'm surprised there's probably not a director's cut with boobs.
Are we sure? Are we sure in Goonies there's not a shot where somebody's looking at a Playboy?
Oh, you might be right. Yeah. Huh. Food for thought, kids.
Because don't forget, the older brother in Goonies is Josh Brolin. Thanos.
We're out.
All right, see you next week. Like, subscribe, watch the thing, recommend it to friends, and give us some love.
Long episode. Got some meat on the bone here today, guys. Chew it up, spit it out. Let's go. Shlicketty-doo cast.
It's so long.